Hey everyone, I am here to give my 11-month update. I just can't believe it's already been 11 months and next month feels like it's going to be a big one. So let's jump right in. Just a little backstory if you're new to the channel. My name is Tiffany Smith. I had a bilateral TJR and three-piece Lefort with Dr. Movahed in September of 2024. And that was due to an osteochondroma or a bone tumor that was in my left mandible that as it grew shifted my midline of my lower jaw towards the right, causing degeneration of both joints and obvious malocclusion, misalignment, and pain. I was misdiagnosed when I was 17. I was correctly diagnosed when I was 31, and I was 34 when I had the surgery. So we will jump right in with how I am doing at 11 months. If you've stayed up to date on my channel, you know that I have no regrets with doing this surgery. It has completely given me my quality of life. I would say quality of life back, but because I have had this pain, this chronic pain since I was 17, I almost feel like I'm discovering myself for the first time, and it feels like this new window of opportunity to live vibrantly and in the moment. And I feel like other people are kind of getting to know me for the first time, and I'm getting to know myself for the first time because my personality and just how I behave and act isn't pushed through or filtered through this lens of chronic pain and just trying to survive and exist and do everything that I want to do and am obligated to do. Pain wise, at month 11, we are doing so much better. I had a bit of a flare up from months like 9 to 10 that was unexpected. And I was told by Dr. Movahed and his team that it does take a full year for this surgery to heal and recover, and that a pain flare at months 9 and 10 is not abnormal. I just wasn't expecting it because I was doing so well. So I kind of cover that more in the previous videos, but I am back to doing phenomenally well. I would say my pain is 0 frequently. Sometimes it's a 1 to a 3. And when I do have that pain, it's primarily in my right Lefort, right through here, which is where we did the most movement. Occasionally I'll have pain in my masseter, and sometimes I feel it in my temporalis as well. I've also noticed that my neck alignment has a lot to do with how my jaw and my head are feeling. And so that kind of plays into it too, which I can talk about with my rehab schedule and my appointments here in a minute. So when I do have those pain flares, I haven't needed to take any pain medicine just because it is so low, like a 1 to a 3. I've been doing a lot of research into actually, I've just been doing a lot of listening to my body. And one thing that I've discovered after this surgery is that I am a lot more sensitive to things that are inflammatory. I first noticed that I was at work. I'm a nurse at a children's hospital, and someone had brought donuts in, so I ate a donut. And about 30 minutes later, my pain in my Lefort got markedly worse. And then I started to feel this like pressure in my sinuses and in my throat, almost like I was pretty certain I was going to be getting like sick. It was like that first feeling of having some sort of sinus infection or a cold or the flu. But then I came home and I slept and I woke up and I was fine. So a few days later, it was a similar situation. Someone had brought a sweet thing to work. I ate one of them and I experienced the same thing. So then I started noticing a trend. And now I have tried and true figured it out. Refined sugar makes me hurt. And I can't express why. I have some theories, but I'm not a nutritionist or a physician or a dietitian. All I can speak to is my own personal experience. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. I've seen a few people that are experiencing chronic pain after their surgery. And I'm curious if maybe that is a treatment plan that you could try or explore, figuring out if refined sugars increase your pain. And so I have quit eating anything that isn't a natural sugar, such as any fruit. So far doesn't seem to make me hurt. And then I've used like honey or agave syrup if I'm trying to sweeten something, and that's been okay too. I also haven't had any issues with carbs, but I don't eat a ton of carbs. I have a breakfast sandwich in the morning with sourdough, and that hasn't seemed to make it any worse. And then sometimes for dinner, we'll make a pasta tortellini with some veggies, and that is not a complex carb. It's a refined flour, I'm sure, and that hasn't caused me issues. But overall, I really am not eating a lot of sugar. I don't eat a ton of dairy, and I don't eat a ton of carbohydrates, and I've noticed that that has really improved my pain and quality of life in general. So I was super excited to figure that out. Exercise and activity wise, I'm still in this position of being able to exercise however I want. I do still feel pressure in my face if I'm doing anything that increases my intracranial pressure, primarily like inversions in yoga or anything where you're straining. And it's not painful, it's just a little bit odd and uncomfortable. I also had a very trying physical week, a week and a half ago. I was working a summer camp for kiddos that aren't able to go to mainstream camp because of their medical needs. And so we live at the campground that whole week, and we do on call. It's a lot of work. And because of the needs of the campers overnight, I ended up working like 64 hours in 5 days with super interrupted sleep, um, sleeping half awake because I was on call listening for the walkie talkie. And I did have a pain flare after that. I would say everything hurt equally, which was kind of nice to have equal pain. Both sides of my Lefort, not really in my joint, but my muscles here and my muscles here. So I had brought some tizanidine that I just have for PRN. It's a muscle relaxer. I brought that and I started taking that in the morning and night. And then I was also taking 600 milligrams of ibuprofen every 6 hours for 2 days. And then icing as often as I could because I had visible swelling both in my eye and in my face. And that treatment plan for 2 days while I was at camp made a huge difference. And by the time I left camp, I was already better. So that felt amazing too, to see that I had some resiliency in that moment and it didn't knock me down and keep me down because I listened to my body and I was willing to do the interventions in the moment when I could. Chewing wise, I'm doing everything except for I still struggle with steak a little bit. And then I haven't even attempted like beef jerky or dried fruit. But I'm having trail mix. I'm having like all sorts of nuts and salads with all the raw vegetables, which is amazing. Like I'm even doing like broccoli and things that are a lot harder to chew. And that's been glorious. So like food wise, everything's fantastic. Sleep is back to normal again. I'm doing very well with sleep. I do notice if I end up on my side in the nighttime, I do feel puffy in the morning, and that gets better by about the mid-afternoon. But if I manage to stay on my back all night long, I do feel better. That's just hard for me to do. Scar-wise, everything, I'll take some photos and put them on my Facebook page with this video of what the scars look like now. They're healing phenomenally well. You really can't even see the ones on my face. And then the one on my belly is healing really nicely too. And for those of you that don't know, he takes a little bit of fat from your belly button and then puts it in the joints. And that helps with, if I understand correctly, with padding the joint and also helping with it not, like the bone growing into the joint in a way that you don't want, is my understanding. But that is, all the incisions are healing very nicely as well. And then treatment plan, I actually am going to the orthodontist today. I'm so hopeful that he's going to give me an appointment date for when we're taking the braces off. I am in my head, we're looking at roughly around December, which puts us about 15 months post-op, which is a little longer than we originally expected, but he's a perfectionist and so am I. So I'm also impatient, and Dr. Movahed gave me a very stern look and told me to let him do his job. And so I'm going to let my orthodontist do his job and be patient. And then insurance-wise, I did get a final update from the Department of Labor. I'm going to do a summary video of my insurance journey. I've done a general broad insurance video that you can find on this channel that just talks about what I learned about insurance and all of the terminology. And then I will do another one that actually addresses my specific journey with the numbers that I found and those things that I found along the way with my specific scenario. So more to come. The short story is we didn't get any more money. So it's okay. I tried my hardest, and that's the best that you can do, especially 11 months out, and all the work I did before the surgery too. So it is what it is. It's the system we're working in. One of the things I've constantly had to remind myself through this journey is that you can only climb one mountain at a time. I wasted a lot of emotional and physical energy being angry at how this system treats people with temporal mandibular joint dysfunction in general. it's unfair and it's unjust, but I spent so much energy, and you can almost feel it on a cellular level when you're just pissed. Um, I didn't have the energy to do what I needed to do for my healing and also fight the insurance system as a whole and how it works. So I had to make the decision for myself that I was going to accept the current system, get through my own journey, and then later, once I'm healed, if I want to address the system so that I can help other people, then that's what I can do later. But one mountain at a time, guys. You've only got the energy for one. You shouldn't have to create the energy for more than one mountain. So please reach out if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns. I'd love to hear if you have had any experience with food inflaming your face and experiencing pain with that, or any other thoughts or tips that you have for me, because we're all learning together. I'm proud of you guys. This journey is hard and it's long, and it's been so, so worth it. So please reach out if you need anything. I'm here for you.